All right. Now, we can also continue using completing this. We could continue using the completing the square method to express the equation in vertex form. And to do this, it's a little bit different than what we just saw. In this case, we won't be setting the equation equal to 0. We'll actually be working with only one side of the equation. And so here we have our problem. F of x is equivalent to x squared minus 8x's plus 7. And since we're only dealing with one hand of the equation, instead of adding the completed square to both sides of the equation, what we're going to do in this case is whatever we take from the middle term, we're going to add and subtract it to the same side of the equation so it does not affect the equation. All right? And by doing that, what we're going to get is the vertex form of the equation, which is also known as the standard form of a quadratic equation. All right? So let's get started with what our steps will be. And in this case, again, we're looking at the leading coefficient of the x squared term. In this case, we see that the coefficient is 1, so we have nothing to worry about. We can just continue with the usual works of things. And in this case, we see that the middle term is going to be this negative 8. So we're going to add and subtract half of the middle term, and we're going to move this 7 over just a little bit. So we can just start by saying x squared minus 8x's, and here we're going to just move the 7 over. So we'll put the plus 7 over here. Now we're going to add and subtract to this term. So I'm going to just leave open parentheses with the squared half of the middle term within them. And half of the middle term in this case is negative 8 divided by 2, which is negative 8 over 2 and negative 8 over 2. And now we just helped complete the square with these three here. Always the positive term of these three are going to be the one that goes with the completed square, where the negative is going to go with the outside terms. Now here we have x squared minus 8x's plus negative 8 divided by 2 gives us negative 4. And this is bn squared minus, again, negative 4, bn squared plus 7. So here we have our completed square terms. We're going to take this value of x and combine it with the negative 4 to get our completed term. And this is going to be negative 4 squared is 16. Plus 7, and then we're going to just simplify what we have. So here we have x minus 4 squared minus 16 take away 7 is 9. And this is our completed square in vertex form. So here we have our first component. Now if we were to use this to find the minimum of the value, we know from all quadratic equations that the minimum term refers to when the quadratic equation hits its low. In this case, the value of the vertex would be the completed form, whereas this is the actual standard form of the equation, also known as the vertex formula. So I'll put both here. And the vertex of the equation is based on the standard form of the equation, which is y equals ax minus h squared plus k. And here we see our h value is just 4 since we're subtracting the value of it. So our vertex in this case is going to be h equals 4, where k is just equivalent to the constant term at the end, which is negative 9. And the minimum of this equation is going to be the value of the y value of the equation. So the vertex itself is going to be 4, negative 9, where the minimum is the value of negative 9.